at Flosstube. It is Sunday, February 1st. This is Annette in Arizona, and it's time for an update. January, as usual, seems to be the longest month of the year, but the good news is I actually got quite a bit accomplished during the month of January, which was good. So, the first thing, the obligatory show of the planner. So you can see pretty much every day I've got stitching every day, the exception being these 3 days when I was actually on a business trip. So I knew I wasn't going to take anything with me on those days, so I didn't. I actually finished my full rotation round on the Saturday before I left, so it was worked out super well. I did not start the next round immediately. I took a day to stitch, and I'll show you what I worked on. But and then after I came back from my business trip on Thursday, I started the second round, chose a new focus piece, and kept going. So let's see what I accomplished during the actual stitching round. So first of all, I kept up with the local conditions, Satsuma Street local conditions, which is the temperature chart that I'm doing here for my temps in Mesa, Arizona. You can see it was a chilly month, kind of normal for January, with a couple of chilly couple of days there. That's that dark blue. I made some fairly significant adjustments to the temperature key. If I hadn't, none of these colors would have appeared because these are associated in the original key with temperatures that we never see here as highs. So I did make a pretty big adjustment to the key, but that's good. January is one of the cooler months, so that's where we wanted to start. So January is done, so we're off to February, starting tomorrow. So that was done, and I kept up with that pretty well. The next thing is that I did finish my focus, which was the Fox and Rabbit 2024 Mystery Sampler. And as we talked about at the beginning of January, I only needed a couple more slots to get it done, and I did. And so here it is in all of its glory. I even pressed it this morning. So this is the Fox and Rabbit. It is on 36 count linen and sea glass from Fortnite Fabrics, and the gold silk is Silks for You, a hank of Silks for You silk that I have. So it came out beautiful, I think. So looking forward to figuring out what I'm going to do with it. But for right now, it's done, and that's all that matters. So I managed to finish that in about three slots, so total of 30 hours through the course of the rotation. I had about 20 hours left from the last time you saw it to finish that big love motif in the bottom. Once I finished the round, I had like a break, and so I took that opportunity to stitch the free chart from Primrose Cottage. They do First Friday free, I think is what it's called. So the first Friday of the month, they send out a free chart. This was it in January. This is on 32 count Belfast linen using all the called for crescent colors and 1 DMC. But I stitched that up on the Sunday, after I finished the full rotation round and before I went on my business trip. So that's cute. I have all the bits and pieces to finish it to a pillow. If I need to channel my inner Nirvana, I can get that done. So those were the 2 finishes that were associated with my first rotation round. So that was pretty good. I was very happy with that. For the rest of the pieces, they each got 10 hours of work. So the first one here is Shannon Christine's Nutcrackers. In my 10 hours, I ended up doing 1,600 stitches. I added 1,600 stitches to this. And I finished the penguins there in the bottom and the snowmen, the snow couple, I guess. Right above that, I got most of the snow couple done and a little bit more of that archway. So that was 1,600 stitches in 10 hours. So that is ready for its next 10 hours. It's currently sitting at 54% with those, with that last 10 hours put in. The next piece, and these are not in any particular order. I mean, I wrote down when I worked on what, but this is not in any order. It's just how I stacked them this morning. The next piece is Graveyard Wander from the Witchy Stitcher. So that's that. And again, this got 10 hours. Because it's not in Pattern Keeper, I can only, I didn't count the stitches, so. But I made really good progress on the top left page. Previously, I'll put the starting picture up here, but this is where we are now. So the gentleman is done. Some of the leaves and hanging branches above. And that's almost the first page. The top left page, there's a little bit more of the lady, her mask and such that'll come in, but I'll finish off that page in my next 10-hour slot. So that's coming along. This is on Fox and Rabbit Prehistoric. Holiday House was on Fox and Rabbit Hog Bristle, 36 count. So this one's coming along really well. The next one, Needle Lot Designs, Divine Beasts. This is on a Be Stitch Me fabric. It's called Granite, and it's an even weave, Lugana. So this one got 10 hours, and again, another 1,620 stitches, all in the Cerberus. Now he actually looks like a Cerberus, so I'll put the picture up of where we started, but this is where we ended up. Now I have a puppy, which is good. And this is now showing at 62%. So this will become a candidate for the next focus piece because we're over 50%. So that was good. Next we have Hazel, which is a Stacy Nash Animal Crackers. Again, 10 hours because I don't have her in a Pattern Keeper at this point. But here's a picture of where we started, and here's where we are. She has a head. She has most of her dress. She really just needs a tail and some feet. So I'm thinking I will finish her in the next round, which is good because I got the next Animal Cracker in the mail this week. So this is Miss Hazel. So she's coming on. She's on a week's linen. I get the kits from Willow Cottage Quilt Company, which is a Canadian. They do Animal Cracker a month kit. So Hazel, I expect Hazel to be finished here in the next round. This one is Shannon Christine's Nutcrackers. Nutcracker bag. This is on Picture This Plus Wren, 32 count Belfast. So the 10 hours for the Nutcrackers, again, about 1,600 stitches here, and I got the vast majority of that middle guy. That middle guy is one of the biggest Nutcrackers that I have to do. So you can see, I put the picture up. Most of him is now done. I just have to finish off his face and his hat. So he will absolutely be finished in the next round, and we'll be starting on the next one. So coming along. I'm not doing any beading or back stitching yet on these guys. I'll wait till the end to do those. There's not very much. So he was good. All right. And the Nutcrackers are now showing at about 30% complete. All right. So the last couple are in this bag. The first one is Modern Folk Embroidery No Time Like the Present, which was the 2024 stitch along. This one we got, let me check in my list here, 1,865 stitches in. 1,865. This is being done on 36 count platinum linen. Again, I'll put the picture up of where we started. I finished off, the 30, I'm doing these in bands of 30 stitches. I finished off this band and I started the next band. But I'm keeping it at 30 stitches high. So this is being done, like I said, on platinum linen with just DMC 336 for the blue and 814 for the red. So that moving along as well. Very happy with that progress. And then the last piece I worked on was Quiltify Designs. Quiltify Designs All Souls Band Sampler, which I am turning into a wedding sampler for my son. Now, this is now going to be the focus for the new round that I started on Thursday. So, and I've already stitched the first 10 hours. So I'm going to put a picture up of where I ended up at the end of the last rotation. And I put in about 2,000 stitches in that 10-hour slot. So I made a good amount of progress because I only had the bottom couple bands done. But after starting the next round and doing a very healthy 10 hours, more like 11, that I finished last night, this is where we're at. So lots of progress. In the next one, I added almost 3 full bands. No, 1 full band, 1 partial band, and almost the top band is almost done. So that's where we're at now. This is on Silvery Moon linen with Silks for You. That's almost a 550, the equivalent of about a DMC 550, but it is silk from Joe. This is the focus for this round. It's currently sitting at 50 with these stitches complete. So it was another 2,400 stitches from the two. So I've added 4,500 stitches since you saw this last. I'm at about 57% complete. I expect this will take probably another 2 to 3 slots in this rotation in between all my other pieces in order to get a finish, because the middle here is pretty much as charted. I have 3 bands at the top that I'm adjusting with names and some other adjustments. And then all around the outside we have beads to put in. So this is looking pretty good. As you can see, I'm a little late, but that's okay. We'll get there before the anniversary this year. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this is looking. So that's all the whips. Those are all the pieces that I worked on since we saw each other last. The 10-hour thing is still working. It's working great, and I'm going to keep chugging along because I'm very happy with the progress that we're making and the amount of whips that I'm touching, and just it's working. So we're going to keep going for right now. Because I had the one finish, I'll be adding in a new piece. And so for this new piece, for this new piece, I'm going to add Wintertime Fairy, which was a gift from my son for Christmas. And I have her all prepped and ready to go. I'm going to start in the bottom center, so we're going to start down here. Unlike many dimensions kits, the vast majority of this is stitched 2/2. The kit comes with an 18 count Aida. I swapped it out for a piece of 36 count even weave, but this is pretty much all 2/2. She is done in full stitches, and then the background, the gray is done in full stitches. The kind of the structure, but everything else is just half stitch. So with the exception of some blending filament that's woven in on top of and overlaid on top of completed stitches, she's just 2 over 2. So I'm looking forward to actually getting her. Like I said, I'm going to start at the bottom, and so we'll get some progress on that. Now, the 2 other whips that I haven't worked on since I last recorded were Victoria Samplers, I Love My Dog, and Teresa, Shakespeare's Peddler of Enough is Abundance. Those were already worked before my last video, so I didn't put any more stitches in them, but they're still part of this round. So you'll see them next time. The other thing that's going to happen is if I finish Hazel this round, then I will start in that same slot a Tiny Town. And the Tiny Town that I'm going to start is Big Hearted Tiny Town. Seemed appropriate for February. On some sand, picture this plus sand, Belfast. So that will take over Hazel's slot. And then I'll go back to another Animal Cracker once the Tiny Town is done. I'll swap between Tiny Towns and Animal Crackers this year in that slot. So this will get started probably this month. And then the last start that I'm expecting this month is Modern Folk Embroideries, Amour Vincent Amma, which is the stitch along from Evertote Roxy Floss that will start on the 14th. So I'm going to try to time it so I actually get started on this about that same day. It is not very big, and I have 40 count porcelain from Roxy Floss, and the floss to go with the multicolor version. So I'll end up with 3 new starts this month, which is good. I will end up with a finish though, because I'll finish off the wedding sampler, which means next month I'll have another slot that I can add in another design. And because this month I'm adding a new start, next month I need to add a whip. So I brought 3 out because I haven't really decided which one I'm going to add in. So if you have an opinion, I am open to it. However, while I was digging out these 3 projects, I found something that I finished back, I think I finished it in 2022, I want to say. Not exactly, I don't exactly remember. I know I took her to 2022's StitchCon and showed her off because I have a picture. But I finished Autumn Lane's Dark Queen of the Sea on Bewitched linen. So let me show her. She is a beauty. So I pulled her out, gave her a little press, and thought I'll show her to the peoples today. So she's all done. She's all done. I didn't do anything funky with her. I just, used some of the choices, her hair, obviously, and the magic in her hand. And, those are the big choices that I made. I do have Dark Queen of the Earth started, but eventually she'll get added into the rotation because she's nowhere near complete. Nowhere near. I did not. I lost track. I lost momentum with her fairly quickly. So anyway, so I thought you might just want to see my Dark Queen of the Sea because she's beautiful. All right, so the 3 whips that I am considering for my next update. First one is Gypsy Queen from Mirabilia. Started this a long time ago. I don't remember when. She's on Sand Jobelin. She's on Sand Jobelin. And I started at the bottom with that behemoth of a skirt, and so I got most of the skirt is done. Obviously all the gaps are for beads, and I do the metallics, but those are beads, bead gaps. But she's pretty much, the skirt's pretty well done, but because that's obviously from a mirror, that's where you tend to get bogged down. So she would be a good one to add in. Again, she's not in Pattern Keeper, so she would only be a time tracking. So that's the first option. The second option is Bent Creek's Snow Globe Mantle. This is the whole thing. I finished the first two parts, and I'm on the third part. This is on 18 count linen. 18 count linen over 2 using pearl cotton. So here's where it is. You can see where I'm at over here. I'm adding in that, started in that last part. But this is good because I don't need any magnification. I don't need any super light. So, but it's big. So this may go in because I don't think it would take much more than 10 hours to actually finish it. Because it goes pretty quickly. And the last one that I am considering is Modern Folk Embroidery, the Quintessential Smalls, which was a stitch along last year with Evertote and Roxy Floss. I've actually finished the pincushion, I finished the scissor fob, and I finished the top and bottom of the pincushion here. I still have the biscornu and the ornament to do. So this is on porcelain, 32 count porcelain, using Falu Red, which is an absolutely stunning red. So here's where we're at so far. Like I said, the pincushion, the scissor fob, this top and bottom are done, and I started on the biscornu. So I haven't cut it apart yet, because if I cut it apart, it won't fit in a Q-snap. So I haven't cut it apart. So I'm just doing them all on here, and then I'll cut them apart after it's done. So that would be another good one to add in to to give it a slot, because I don't think, well, I mean, there's a good amount of stitching left, so it'd probably hang out at least for a couple, 3 passes. But so if you have a preference for any of those 3, please share. And when it's time to choose, after we finish this next round, then, you know, we'll see how it goes. What's calling? A little bit of stash purchases. A little bit of stash, not a huge amount. After my last video, I had mentioned I was hoping to get the Plum Street Sampler America 250, and someone very kindly reached out, someone that had attended summer school last summer, and said, you know what, I'm not going to stitch this. I would be happy to, to let you acquire it. So I was able to acquire America's 250, fully kitted, as it was kitted for summer school last year. So thank you very much. And this will probably be the April new start. I'll work this in April so I can get it started before the summer. So I'm very happy. But I'll use all the materials that we have. It's 36 count smoky quartz linen and the DMC and stuff ready to go. So I was able to acquire that. That got added. You saw the Salentines that I ordered from Evertote, and then I had made an order from a shop last October, and for whatever reason I didn't get it until January. We're not going to go. You know, it is what it is. Things happen. So in that order, I bought the Primrose Cottage Nativity. So I bought Nativity, and then I subsequently ordered the Color and Cotton flosses for it. So that's Color and Cotton for Nativity. So I got that. So it's ready to be a potential new start. I haven't pulled fabric or anything for that, but it's ready. And then the other thing I stuck. I bought some Madame So bags with the double zipper, so we'll try them out, see how they are. But I got a few other things. When I bought the Salentine kit from Evertote, I also bought a piece of 20 count Roxy Floss linen, or Ada in Panettone. So we'll try it out. 20 count seems to be all the rage in the floss tubes that I'm watching, so let's try it out, see how it does. I'm actually thinking that the Fox and Rabbit 2026 Mystery Salve, I saw part 2 yesterday, and I might end up jumping in on that. We'll see. I definitely want to do it from stash though, so I need to figure it out color-wise, but it's pretty tempting right now. Like I said, but earlier I got the next animal crackers from Stacey Nash. Isn't Millie is an elephant? Isn't that the cutest thing ever? This will definitely be the next animal cracker once I finish the Big Hearted Tiny Town. Definitely. I ended up with a gift certificate at Hobby House Needleworks, so I purchased Ebenezer's Blessing. I like the berry and the piece, so I got that. And I got Stitch All the Things, another piece, and Blessing with my gift certificate, because of course nothing can travel alone. So I also picked up the frills, the Christmas frill, the patriotic frill. So these go with the tiny. I have all the Tiny Towns, so these go with the Tiny Towns. From my October order, what I ordered then was Plum Street Salem Sampler. Ooh, lots of glare, sorry. So I got that. I got Autumn Moon, all nicely kitted, so that's ready to go when we get back into fall stitching. And then finally the charcuterie board. I got that kitted. Like I said, I ordered those back in October, and there was just a delay for some reason as to why, but they didn't come until January. That's okay. So that was all stash. Not bad, right? Finally, I finished a few books in January. I've only got 3 to talk about. The first one is Words of Radiance from Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book in the Stormlight Archive. It's a behemoth. It's like 1,000 pages. I did finish that, and I enjoyed every page. It's fantastic. I did the short story, Edge Dancer. Pretty sure that's it. It was just a short story. I actually read that while I was on my business trip, so that was good. So I'll be ready to start the 3rd big book in the series, Oathbreaker. I'll put it down here. I'll start that here sometime in the next couple weeks. So I will continue my Stormlight reading. I also read Mrs. Winter in the Library with a Knife, I think is the name of it, which is kind of an Agatha Christie style mystery. It was entertaining, I will say. It's a little different. I wanted something a little different from what I've been reading very heavy fantasy stuff. So I read that. It was a nice mystery, quick, easy. It was fun. And then the final thing I read was The Rainfall Market, which was part of the, I'll put it down here. It's Michelle from Cozy Eggs book club, which I decided that I would want to participate in this year. She puts out a book every other month. And so January was The Rainfall Market. And I read that, participated in the discussion a couple weeks ago. And it was something a little different. It was nice. It was a nice kind of refreshing story. It was very fairy tale or folklore-ish story, which again, low stakes, right? But an easy read, a good read. I will include the information for her book club in the description box. So if it's something that you're interested in, she's already chosen the next couple books, so you can see what's coming up soon. I'll be joining for March and reading the next book. So that's it. That's all I've got. I hope you are having a fantastic year so far. I hope you're staying warm and have electricity. And I know a lot of parts of the country do not right now. And if you're down under, I hope you're staying cool in the summer. So have a fantastic day. We'll see you in a month or so. And keep stitching. Thanks.